6 right now of Revelation. I watched as the Lamb opened the first of the 7 seals. Then I heard one of the 4 living creatures say in a voice like thunder, "Come." I looked, and there before me was a white horse. Its rider held a bow, and he was given a crown, and he rode out as a conqueror bent on conquest. When the Lamb opened the 2nd seal, I heard the 2nd living creature say, "Come." Then another horse came out, a fiery red one. Its rider was given the power to take peace from the earth and to make men slay each other. To him was given a large sword. When the Lamb opened the 3rd seal, I heard the 3rd living creature say, "Come." I looked, and there before me was a black horse. Its rider was holding a pair of scales in his hands. Then I heard what sounded like the voice among the 4 living creatures saying, "A quart of wheat for a day's wages, and 3 quarts of barley for a day's wages, and do not damage the oil and the wine." When the Lamb opened the 4th seal, I heard the voice of the 4th living creature say, "Come." I looked, and there before me was a pale horse, and its rider was named Death, and Hades was following close behind him. They were given power over a 4th of the earth to kill by sword, famine, and plague, and by wild beasts of the earth. When he opened the 5th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of those who had been slain because of the word of God and the testimony they had maintained. They called out in a loud voice, "How long, sovereign Lord, holy and true, until you judge the inhabitants of the earth and avenge our blood?" Then each of them was given a white robe, and they were told to wait a little longer until the number of their fellow servants and brothers who were to be killed, as they had been, was complete. I watched as he opened the 6th seal. There was a great earthquake. The sun turned black like sackcloth made of goat hair, and the whole moon turned blood red, and the stars in the sky fell to the earth, as late figs drop from a fig tree when shaken by a strong wind. The sky receded like a scroll rolling up, and every mountain and island was removed from its place. Then the kings of the earth, princes, the generals, the rich, the mighty, and every slave and every free man hid in caves and among the rocks of the mountains. They called to the mountains and the rocks, "Fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of their wrath has come, and who can stand?" Wow. You know, when we read things like this out of the book of Revelation, I don't know, for me, it really helps me be grateful for what it is that we're actually saved from, being saved from the wrath of God. It's one thing to be exposed to the wrath of man, which is what we see now, violence and people being hurt by their fellow man. But it's another thing when you're hiding in mountains and you're hiding in caves and you're telling the earth to fall on you and crush your head lest you stand in front of the glory and the wrath of God. That's pretty intense. And there was another verse up here I wanted to cover real quick too. Where's that? Imagine the sky receding like a scroll, rolling up, and every mountain and island was removed from its place. This is the impact that our God has and the authority He has over the earth and over all of His creation. Remember, we're reading this because there's that special blessing that's held in Revelation 1, verse 3, for any individual who reads this out loud and obeys what it is that they hear. And it's important for us as believers to remember that our God is loving, and He is caring, and He's compassionate, and He's full of mercy. But in this book, the mercy is no longer present. there is an end to the mercy of God. There is a point until which he will no longer pour himself out mercifully, and then he has to, because he's just, exact his justice on the earth for the things that have been done wrong and the people who have done wrong. So I pray that that's something that we can use as motivation and an incentive for us to step forward, for us to move with a sense of urgency, to move with the understanding that at some point, the world will be cut off from God's mercy, and we need to be pushing that. And the book of Revelation is the reason why we preach the gospel. It's the reason why we evangelize. It's the reason why we go and seek the lost, because we want everyone to avoid this wrath and be folded into the fold of God's love and be able to spend eternity with him. Again, this is Revelation 6. I get home from work later on today. We'll go ahead and do Revelation 7. I hope that you're able to find something in here that you can ponder on, whether it be the awesomeness of God and how he rolls up the sky, or just the mercy that comes before the book of Revelation. But God's got a plan. He's on the throne. Nothing surprises him. Our sin doesn't surprise him. He knows we're going to be drawn away from holy things and drawn to horrific things, and he's all aware of that, and he doesn't regret saving us when we stumble and when we fall. It doesn't surprise him. He knows it's coming. He sees it. That invitation for salvation is still given to you in spite of that. We have the opportunity as Christians, especially now in the New Testament, to just accept the gift and live in such a way that makes Jesus look amazing. Okay? You guys have a great morning, and I'll talk to you very soon.